How you doing?
I'm slowly coming down from my rage-fueled rage.
Why do you have rage?
I had a annoying experience at Starbucks. I know, first world problems, right?
Rage-inducing Starbucks experience.
Yeah.
Was it employee-related or...
Yeah. Yeah, I walk in there and I'm like, I want a large coffee with a shot of espresso, right? Mm-hmm. It's called a red eye is what that's called. So I said, I want a red eye with room for cream. And he's like, okay. You want the dark roast coffee or the light roast coffee? And I'm like, light roast. And he's like, okay. You said, what? You want room for cream? Yes, I did. Okay. You said what? Large? Yes, I said large. Okay, here you go. He pours coffee and he hands it to me, and there's no room for cream. And also, he didn't go over to the little espresso machine where you do the little thing and it goes and it makes espresso, right? So I'm thinking he poured me a cup of coffee from the vat of coffee that they have, and he handed it to me. And there was no room for cream, so I was pissed off. I wanted to throw it in his face, tell him to do it again. But it was kind of annoying, you know? It's like, I told you I want a large coffee with room for cream. That's not overly complicated, right? So he's like, large? Yes, large. Room for cream? Yes, room for cream. Coffee? Yes, coffee.
Did this just happen, Ivan?
Yeah, I was on the way home from dropping my kid off. Ironically, I wanted some coffee because I was kind of on edge, hadn't had caffeine all day. Wanted something nice and warm, and I will go in there and I want to come out shooting people.
Do you own a gun?
Unfortunately, yes. I own 2.
I don't know why you need a gun where coffee is like 300 degrees and you could just throw it at somebody and burn them.
Well, and that's part of the thing that pisses me off. When you say you need room for cream, that actually means something, because it's not like, oh, I can just take a big gulp and make room for cream. No, you have to wait 15 minutes before you can drink coffee because it's molten hot.
Yeah, I usually have to wait like at least a half hour with like hot chocolate or anything from like Dunkin' Donuts because it is so hot.
That's part of the reason why I put cream in my coffee. One, I like the creaminess, obviously, that it adds to coffee. But the other reason is because it cools off the 12,000 degree coffee that they hand you. It only makes it 6,000 degrees, which is much more tolerable.
Yeah, we've come to the realization that we think that they make it so hot that when you're on the go and you drive for like a half hour to an hour to get to your destination, it'll still be molten hot.
Ironically, you can actually order coffee from Starbucks and ask that it be, I don't know what because, you know, everything there has a term, you know, because like a coffee with a shot of espresso in it is called a red eye, you know, so everything's got its own fancy term. There's a term that you go into a Starbucks and you say, I want my coffee even hotter than you normally serve it. I don't know what that's called, but somebody told me about that, and I'm like, why would anybody want that? You can't drink the coffee as it is. So anyway, since I'm so pissed off, we might as well talk about Magicka, because I hate Magicka, and it almost wanted to make me put my fist through the computer. So
okay,
if you're looking for stuff to talk about, I'm already salty.
Okay, so Magicka is the overhead view. You combine different spell types to cast spells and defeat the horde coming at you or progress through your adventure.
Yes.
Like you can combine, what is it, like...
You have 8 elements. You've got your standard ones, fire, water, earth, and... Fire, water, earth, and lightning. Are those all right, well, you have those, and then you have ice, and then you have shield, and you have life, and you have arcane. Those are your 8 schools, and you can combine them in any order that you want, as long as the 2 of them, and they stack up to 5, and as long as they don't conflict, they will stack. So you can't do fire and ice, because those 2 are, they're conflicting schools, so if you do that, they just cancel each other out. But you can put like 5 fires, or 4 fires in an arcane, or 3 fires in an arcane and an earth, and you know, and you get, it's essentially you're making recipes. And you actually can combine fire and water because those don't conflict because they make steam, and steam is an element. So And it's really kind of fun. There's all these, you basically what you do is you learn a couple useful spells that are very good. You know that goblins are susceptible to fire, so you learn a good fire spell, and you use that. And, because you're not really expected to remember. There's something ridiculous like 40,000 combinations or more. There's no way you're going to remember them all. And then there's some special saved ones that you can learn. You scroll your wheel, and it shows you the combination. Like there's a haste one, which makes you run fast, but it shows you what the ingredients are, essentially. And everything is super cool, and it's a fun game, and it's funny, and, there's lots of humor involved, and the guy telling you what you should be doing and where you should be going is this vampire guy named Vlad, who keeps insisting that he's not a vampire, even though at one point you walk up and he's sucking the blood out of some guy's neck, and when he sees you, he goes, oh, and he flings the guy off a cliff. And it's filled with lots of good humor. But I get to this point in the game where I literally spent 2 nights for 2 hours plus trying to get past it, and I can't. And there's nothing you can do. You can't change the difficulty setting. There's no cheat codes that give you infinite life kind of thing. And it's not possible for me to get past it, and so I'm infuriated. I'm like, what do you do?
Is it just a fight, or is it something more than that?
No, it's this battle. You walk up. Yeah. There's a few stairs, and there's this big open area, and you get swarmed by all these different kinds of guys. And once you kill them, a new swarm comes in. And you kill them, and a third swarm comes in. But it's right at the edge of a cliff. And you've got all these guys who hop up in the air, so you can't, build walls, because they hop over the walls. You've got these guys that are bull things that charge you and headbutt you, and if they hit you, they send you flying backwards. So you can't be with your back to the cliff at all. So you've essentially only got 3 sides you can be on. You can't have your back to the cliff, because if they headbutt you, they shoot you right off the cliff, and you're instantly dead. And the one other thing is I've got this teleport staff, which is called emergency teleport. When you're in trouble and you're being surrounded and being beat down, you can teleport, and it randomly teleports you somewhere, which is awesome, except that half the time it teleports you either to a place where you can't move, or it teleports you someplace off the screen and you can't see where you are. So that doesn't help me at all. It
is a frustrating game, but one big aspect of the game, which I think you probably aren't doing, is it's a co-op game as well.
Well, that's the thing. So I get this feeling like it was designed like Left 4 Dead. It's possible to play on your own, but you're missing out the point of the game and the main part of the game if you're not playing with other people. And so I don't like that. It's not that I don't like playing with other people. It's that I don't like having to play with other people. I love playing Left 4 Dead with you guys. It's fun when we all get together and we're all playing Left 4 Dead and we're shooting zombies. I wish that I could play it by myself when there aren't people around. You know what I mean? It's like Left 4 Dead does not get played unless there's at least 2 or 3 of us around to play it. And that kind of seems like a waste to me.
Magicka is that way. I was trying to do the Steam winter sales contest for one of the achievements was freeze 50 enemies in Magicka and break them when they're frozen. And if you get the DLC for the Cthulhu stuff, the Knights, what are the stars, whatever it is, Left of the Stars, whatever it is, the first guy you fight drops a magical frost blade that you can hit people with, and then next hit breaks them. But you get to a fight that you're being swarmed, and they're all coming at you constantly, and unless you're really quick on the trigger with all the spells, there's no way you can do it by yourself. You need someone to back you up. I played through that probably 30 times to kill 50 guys. So at that point, I got frustrated. I got my achievement for the Steam sale, and then I just walked away. And I quit. But yeah, Magicka is a game. I think even Keith talked about Magicka a couple months ago, and yeah, you need to play with other people. I think they designed some of the battles so you need someone else to help you out. Otherwise, you're not going to progress.
Yeah, so I quit playing. I'm like, screw this game. I can't get past this point, and so I'm not going to play it anymore. And I'm like, no, it's fun though. I want to play. So I started playing again, and it's like, it's not even, there's a dozen things they could do. Change difficulty levels, let you do something else, You know, like that. Okay, so I can't go down this path because it's too many guys and you need more than one person to back you up. So let me do this other mission. No, because there are no other. It's very, very linear. You move from point A to point B to point C, and if you can't make it past point B, there's nothing else that you can do.
No, I don't know the one you're playing. I don't remember that part. I don't think I progressed much in this.
It's early. It was chapter 3, and it was like halfway through chapter 3, or maybe it's the end of chapter 3. And it's not even, it's just, I don't know what it is. It's like so random, the things that it throws at you. I had handled groups of guys before, because right before that I fought the thing where there's like 3 or 4 of those druids that summon the big trees. And I made it through that. It took me a while, but it was challenging, and I enjoyed that. It was it was frustrating, but it was a challenge, and I made it through it. This thing, I have tried and tried and tried and tried, and I've looked up things online, and they're like, oh, just do this. Use the shotgun ice blaster thing, and it kills everybody. And I do that, and it doesn't kill everybody.
Have you tried some buffs to...
Yeah, I've tried shield. Well, the other part is you get to a point where the druid comes out, and he casts rain. And rain is like the worst, because it makes you wet, and then you can't cast spells when you're wet. For some reason, because it's dumb. So you have to cast fire on yourself to dry yourself off, which is bad because you're usually running around with just a scrap of health left until you can break free.
Wait. You can't cast spells when you're wet? I thought you could. You can't cast electricity.
Yeah, maybe you can't cast certain spells.
Yeah.
And the ones that I was using that were actually doing me good it wasn't necessarily lightning.
No, it was the chain lightning. I know the one. Yeah, that's a really good spell.
No, it's like maybe it's fire or something. It wasn't that it was killing me. It was that I would stack up my spell things and it wasn't working. And I found out it was because I was wet. I had to dry myself off before I could do it. I don't know. And that's the end of the fight, though, anyway. I was still having problems towards the beginning of the fight, because they would swarm you, and then the headbutty guys would headbutt you, and it was just... And then the other problem is so you cast haste so that you can run fast and get away from people, and that works perfectly. But then the other problem is now you have to remember, like, 6 spells that are all made of combinations of, like, 8 or 9 keys. So... now I have to remember QRQRESW. And I have to remember that. And that's not bad if that's all you have to remember, but you have to remember that. And then you have to remember DSDSQAR.
You need someone else, Ivan, because there's a revive spell, which if you die, you can revive. The other one can revive you.
Right. I know that's a big thing, because, I say, oh, revive, I can revive myself. Oh, no, it's revive somebody else. And it's frustrating. And so, yeah, I've put it down.
Although I remember the Keith saying that in co-op, it's all friendly fires on, so you can hit each other. Yeah,
which is bad, because there's a lot of good blowy up spells. Like, oh, I cast this fireball, and if you add earth to a fireball spell, it explodes everything in a 2-mile radius. Yeah, so I could see how that would be annoying, too.
But I see you guys have also been playing Magic.
Yeah, Magic, what is it called? Magic 2012 or something?
Yeah, Duels of the Planeswalkers? Was that what it's called? Or
yeah, Duels of the Planeswalker 2012.
It's pretty good.
Now, Ivan, did you buy all the DLC to get all the decks before you started playing?
Oh, I don't know.
I think you did. I saw you buy something big on the community page. It's like you bought like 1,300 things. Yeah,
I bought just the game. And then I did notice they had a whole bunch of other stuff, so I did buy, like, I forget what it was. Now you're going to make me look.
I ended up buying the complete set with, all, the game itself, the expansion, the 2 big deck packs, and then the other packs that you can unlock. And the thing that I was wondering is, I'm not sure exactly which deck or decks you start out with when you start the game.
2. You have your choice between an all-green deck and, like, an all-red deck.
Okay.
Because I did start the game. I bought just the game, and I played that before I went back and bought the big bundle thing. And so you start the game with your choice of 2 decks, an all green creature deck, and I didn't play the red one because I don't really like red. But yeah, okay. That's all you get, and you have to beat guys. Every time you beat a guy, you unlock their deck. So that's how you get all the other decks, unless you buy the bundle, which unlocks them.
Okay, that's what I did. Have you been playing like the freeform, or have you actually been doing the campaign?
I did the campaign. I went through the normal campaign and beat the last guy, And then I went through and I started doing, what is it, Revenge or something it's called?
Okay.
There's like 3 different things. So the first and the third seem like they're the same kind of game. It's 1-on-1. And then there's the middle thing, which I don't remember what it's called, but it's 3-on-1. So it's like the computer AI bad guy has a deck of cards that are like global. They do a global thing. Like all of my spells now do double damage kind of thing. Kind of like an enchantment, but it only lasts 1 round. And then you've got you and 2 other guys, and the 3 of you have to beat the one guy. The 4th guy. So that's the second game mode, and I played that once and didn't care for it, so I didn't play it again.
Yeah, I got to the point where I'm still in it kind of early on, but I think about the 4th or 5th opponent in, the guy that uses all of the they're basically basically they're all like enhancements and enchantments, and then they come to life. What are those things called?
Yeah, the enchantments that you do a certain thing and they turn into creatures.
Right. So yeah, it was the blue, black, and white, whatever, and I got completely destroyed because everything turned into flying, and I had nothing that could block flying. I think I played one of the basic green decks.
Yeah, the problem with the campaign is you can't pick one deck that you really like and go from beginning to end. You do kind of have to switch it up. I think for the one I was having a problem with flying, I think I switched to a white and something deck. Oh, it was the white and blue deck I switched to.
Yeah, I think I've been switching between like green, an all green deck, an all black deck, and what was the other one? White and red, I think, to basically just hit things and do additional damage to kill them.
Yeah, because it's Duels of the Planeswalkers, which means you can't make your own deck. You've got decks, and as you move through the campaign, you unlock decks, and if you've already unlocked the decks, you unlock extra cards for the deck. So you can swap cards in and out for that specific deck, but you can't combine. You can't combine decks, and you don't. It's not like you have access to all of the cards, and you can make your own deck. So that kind of stinks. And there's one deck that I have that I'm always short on white mana, and I wish that I could add, take a couple cards out and add a couple planes, but you can't add land either. So I think there's each deck is 60 cards, and I think you can unlock up to 20 or 30 additional cards for each deck. So, and they're, for that deck. You can't swap them in and out. So the black and white deck that I've been playing, you unlock additional black and white cards that fit the theme of that deck that you can swap in and out. But that's all you can do.
Yeah, the thing that I also noticed is everything, all the abilities on cards have names to them now. So instead of the text saying does not tap when attacking is now called Vigilance. And now there's something also called Double Strike, which is first strike and secondary strike during normal combat phase.
Yeah, well, and they've always done that. They had abilities, and then they named the abilities, and then they keep changing abilities. Now the ability to block a flyer if you're not flying has an ability name.
I think it's called range or something.
And some of the things that they changed the names of some things too. So like haste. I think it's still called haste, but there's, they I don't know, they redo it's annoying when they go through and they redo all of that stuff every year or two, and it's kind of annoying. And then I was playing some guy and he pulls out it amazes me that all these cards that were so overpowered that they had to take out or, ban from tournament play because they were so overpowered are now, they're playing with them again. Played with some guy meaning some AI guy, and he's got a deck and it's got a Mox Pearl in it. I'm like, what? I'm like, these were the cards that were no, this was the stupidest thing that we could have done. They're so broken. They're so overpowered. We have to remove them. It's well, now you can play with them again. Anyway, it's a good game. It's clearly designed to... It's like a gateway drug. It's like marijuana. It's clearly designed to get you to want to play Magic digitally, but they don't let you do certain things like build your own deck or add certain elements to your deck. Because if you want to do that, they want you to go play Magic Online, which is where they make, most of their money, because it's, the same cost as buying real cards, but digitally. So it's like, yeah, and it's a fun game, and it kind of gets you through the day. But it's like, if you want the real experience, play Magic Online. So, I mean, it's kind of obvious that's what they're doing. I guess that's not necessarily a problem, but I don't want to get back into Magic so badly that I want to spend, money on making decks and playing in tournaments and winning cards, and I'm like, that's why I stopped playing Magic to begin with.
But you don't own the real cards; you're just the virtual copies of them.
That too, yeah. I mean, that's the other downside, is you don't actually own anything. But so so Duels of the Planeswalkers is a good game. You can't do certain things, but there's a reason for that, and that's because those things are reserved for Magic Online. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's not everything you want to do playing Magic, but it's good enough. Usually I like building decks, but usually when I want to play, I just want to play a round or two. I don't want to sit there for hours tweaking a deck. I've kind of moved past that as being interesting to me. So Duels of the Planeswalkers is kind of nice because, they're already pre-built and everything.
The only complaint that I have is during each step, they have like a little countdown timer. It would be nice if there was an extra like 3 to 5 seconds or you can actually just pause it and select if you want to block or counter and stuff like that. So
you can always stop the timer.
Yeah, but then you can't. I don't think you can actually cast like an instance or a sorcery or something while you're in the middle of stopping the timer.
Yeah, I don't like the way the rules are now. And the other thing that's annoying is it's got, during your main phase, every time you cast a card, it waits like 5 seconds before it actually resolves, before the card is actually cast. And that's annoying as hell when you've got like a creature that for like 1 red mana, you add +1/+0 to your creature. Well, if you say it's late in the game and you want to do that like 12 times, you have to do it once and then wait 5 seconds, and then do it twice and then wait 5 seconds, and then do it a third. You can't just say, I'm going to do this 15 times. You have to do it one at a time, and it takes like 5 seconds each time.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
Other than that, I think until they release some DLC, I think I'm done with Skyrim, because there's nothing left for me to do. I have all of the dragon shouts. I know them all, and I've learned them all, and I've unlocked them all. I have every house that you can buy. I'm the Thane of every city, so you can go in and talk to the king of each city and say, hi, I'd like to help you in your city. And after you do a couple missions for them, they say, hey, if you do this thing, we'll let you buy a house, and I'll make you my Thane of the city. So I've done that for every city. I don't know. I think of something that you can do in the game, and I've done it.
You've been everywhere? You've been all the places?
I probably haven't unlocked every single map point, but I've certainly unlocked all the ones that you need to do stuff, But then, I mean, what fun is that? I mean, how fun can that possibly be to like look at a map that somebody has unlocked all of the points on, and look at your map, and then compare, and then go to all those places? I've gotten all the achievements. There's like 50 achievements, or however many there are. I've got all of the achievements.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've pretty much finished. Even though they claim that you can never truly finish the game, there's always things to do. You can always get quests from places, which is true. I can still level up. I can still do all that stuff, but I haven't. There's nothing major for me to do anymore in the game, so I'm basically just kind of waiting for a DLC.
Okay, Skyrim's. 2 weeks ago, you said you bought your kid a 3DS. Did you give it to him yet?
Oh yeah, I did.
And have you played with it?
I have, actually. I played a lot of Mario, Super Mario World, Land, whatever, and Mario Kart 7. The first impression I had was I was actually impressed with the 3D. I'm like, this is going to be some stupid little gimmick, and it's going to be dumb. And like, no, wow, this 3D is actually very 3D-y. It works pretty well, actually. Gets a little annoying after a while. And in some places, it's like, I don't really need this to be in 3D, so you kind of turn it off. But I don't know. I'm not going to, like, sing its praises. It's still a white-hot mess as far as the interface goes. There's, like, 3 different download channels, and it's like, oh, join the download club thing. Yeah, it's like... one of the things I love about Apple and their app stores, it's just easy. The interface is easy. There's no confusion. Everything is right there. It's like, even still, the Nintendo has always been... It's just been a mess. It's like, you can't have a username. No, we give you a 27-digit number. That's how people will find you when they want to play multiplayer. Okay. And then, like, the download store is a pain. You have to click 15 different times and 30 different ways to actually download a thing from the download store, and the main menu screen where you go to, like, play a game or do the chat thing. It's like the whole UI is just hideous. So Nintendo still hasn't really fixed that part, but I mean, the games are still fun, I guess.
And how much you spend on it for him? How much was it?
I don't remember. What was it, $169? Yeah, I spent $200 on it because I got the Legend of Zelda Special Edition that comes with Zelda, which is a $40 game. So if I would have spent $169.99 and then bought Zelda, I would have spent $210.
And is it worth $169? Whatever.
For me, no. If it was for me, I wouldn't have spent $200 on a 3DS for me to play 3D games. For my kid, absolutely, it's worth it, because my kid loves those types of games, and he's in the car a lot, because driving to my parents' house or driving him home to his mom's house kind of thing, it's like he's always sitting in the back seat with nothing to do. It's perfect for him to have a DS, or until he got the DS, he was playing stuff on my iPad in the car, so for him, absolutely, it's worth it.
Is the screen any larger, or is it still pretty standard?
Yeah. No, well, the top screen is about the same size as an iPhone, iPod Touch. It's about the same size. The bottom screen is still
3-4 inches or whatever.
Yeah, but the top screen is a little bigger. It's the same size as the old one. It's got a like a control stick, as well as the D-pad, so that helps.
How's the battery life?
It's about the same as the DS. I played it one night for 3 or 4 hours, and eventually got the blinky red light of death. So
was that with 3D on?
Yeah, it was. I don't know, 5 hours maybe, which isn't great. But I also had wireless on. It's got Wi-Fi built in, so I probably didn't need the Wi-Fi on. Basically, it was the few days after I gave it to him, so I hadn't really spent much time with it. So I had all of the bells and whistles on when I probably didn't need all the bells and whistles on, you know what I mean?
All right, sounds good. I think we're at about time, so unless anybody has anything else.
I do not.
And that was Video Game Show episode 261. Any final closing words?
No.
Happy New Year. I guess it's been a while since we've spoken with people, so Happy New Year to everybody.